Welcome back. Court systems in the United States have been back and forth on their position of President Trump's travel ban. Ron, do you think this travel ban is within the president's power? And if so, should it be?
I think the travel ban should be within his power. I think he rolled it out totally wrong. I don't think he did anything right in rolling it out. I think he should have been talking to his national security people, his Secretary of Defense, his Secretary of State.
If they were already approved.
Well, one guy was talking today that it was his fault that it rolled out, Kelly. So the right people were in place, and if you don't have them in place, then wait till you do have them in place. I mean, we can roll people out. If they'd have rolled everybody out and Sessions would have been rolled out, Voss wouldn't be Secretary of Education right now, because he had to be there as a senator so he could vote for us. So there was a 51-50, tie break
Right.
because of the president, vice president of the United States. So if he'd have rolled it out carefully, done it right, not rolled it out, but he rolled it out like on a Friday night or something.
Well, he threw it into the trash bin. Danielle, what's your opinion on?
Well, as I said during the break, I'm a little bit on the fence about this as a Republican. I do think he does have the power to do it, but I do agree that it wasn't in the best manner. And what really made me feel that way was watching the videos of families that were waiting at airports while their family members were being detained, and were in flight at the time that the order was signed. So the way that it happened, not real. I don't think it was a great start for
it was
first
clumsy.
days as presidency. I would agree with that.
Okay, it was clumsy the way he handled it. The families that were in transit, I think we should have allowed them. I mean, they had already gone through the vetting process. We should have allowed them to at least come into the country and then deal with the other issues and build it up. But the rollout was very, the way it was applied. And then when we have courts differing on opinion between what happened in Boston, which sided with President Trump, and then we have the Ninth Circuit, which is where the appeal's going through right now. Can we talk about, do you think the state, because it's Washington that brought up the challenge to the policy or the executive order, do you think the state has legal standing to bring up that challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
It's there, and I think later...
For what position do you feel the state has the merit? Or is the state aggrieved in any form or fashion by having...
It's states' rights. I mean, if you don't have the Attorney General was in the United States, I think the one Attorney General wound up and was fired. Okay, so that Attorney General didn't have a chance to comment on it. Somebody's got to take the rights, so it's states' rights. Somebody has to represent the people of the United States in this particular instance, so now you've got the Ninth Circuit that did. So again, had it been done correctly, had they looked at it and got the input, so you wouldn't had the 7. It was an easy thing to say, well, Obama already had picked these 7s. We'll blame it on him because everybody's...
Well, I mean, it worked under the previous administration, blame it on the previous administration, so they were just taking a page out of the playbook.
Well, but that's not what the previous administration did. That was not part of...
They never implemented those 7.
Right.
But is the president, is not more privy, Danielle, maybe you can, is he not more privy to national security issues than a judge of the Ninth District Court?
If he attends the briefings.
If he attends the briefings. Well, I think he probably has a little update on these 7 countries before
Well,
the Ninth District Court judge would have been read
then
in.
take your time, roll it out, talk to your Homeland Security person, talk to your Secretary of Defense, your Secretary of State, get it done right so they know what you're doing and don't blindside them like several of them said he did.
Well, the premise behind this, according to Trump, is about the safety and security of our country. And I believe, Henry, you had brought up during the break about the 7 countries that were, part of this. What is your take on why those 7 were selected, and was that a right move?
Well, I mean, I don't have the knowledge or aptitude that the president has or the national security team has as to why we picked these 7 countries. There are other Muslim countries, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, which have a larger population of Muslim citizens that we didn't target to halt immigration to. So I'm not quite there has to be something that national security level that they have information, ties to terrorism, credible threats that they're using to evaluate and make this determination. And it was done both under President Obama's administration and reevaluated under Donald Trump's administration. So to jump to that statement, I think he knows more than what we do, and that's why he's in that
Let me
office.
ask you a question on the same topic. Did Steve Bannon push it through since he was appointed, that Trump didn't even know he did it, appointed Steve Bannon to the National Security Council?
But we're not talking about Steve Bannon at this point.
Well, Steve Bannon's on there, and it started through the National Security Council. Bannon's the architect of it.
So you think Bannon has a target to do this?
It's fear.
Fear.
It's governed by fear.
Okay. So are you equating Donald Trump's administration to what?
I'm going to let you equate it
I'm-
to what?
I'm throwing that one
gonna-
out to you
I'm
there,
going to
Ron.
let you equate it
Okay.
to what? It's a rush to judgment. It's not the rule of law. It's the rule of there are.
But Ron, not to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Okay. We did say I think we all agree that the president had the executive power to issue this order. Okay.
A order, not this one. He had the right.
He had
to,
the power to. The Congress granted him the right when he felt that there was a credible threat. Okay, that was back in the 1950s. The Constitution granted the right to Congress to grant that power to him.
Okay.
So he therefore had the right that he could identify, and he didn't name, oh, was this religion or it's this. He said a country. So he did have the right, and he's not the first president to do this.
Yeah, but you've got to go out of context a little bit and go with what he has said. He has said things that talked about Christians could come in, Muslims couldn't. He said all along since his campaign he was going to keep Muslims out. He said it.
He said a lot of things, and honestly, the videotape of and the recordings of everything he said probably will fill the Library of Congress right now.
Way more than Hillary.
Well, that's
That's
maybe why
debatable.
Hillary's not in the White House. She should have said a little bit more out there.
We might have been better off.
Oh, Lord, save us, please.
We're just getting started.
So, Danielle, where do you think we're going with this? Do you think, whatever the decision right now, because as we're filming, we don't know how it's going to settle, do you think that this is going to be appealed to the Supreme Court, knowing that if it goes to the Supreme Court right now, there is only 8 members, and it could be deadlocked. If it's deadlocked, the ruling on the lower court stands.
I have a feeling it could be appealed.
You think Trump will take it to the Supreme Court?
I do.
Ron?
I think there's something going to happen between now and then that may curtail it, and cooler heads will prevail, and they could withdraw it and do it the way it should be done instead of making a mockery out of the system.
You know, we still get, this is only a temporary situation, save where Sear was classified in this. This was temporary. By the time all this gets resolved in the courts, it could well nigh be past where he put this in to begin with. And hopefully they have the vetting system that Donald Trump's after in place.
Name me one of the countries. Was Yemen part of it?
I believe it was.
What did we do in Yemen a couple within the last week?
We sacrificed a Navy SEAL's life. And Ron, I'm going to close out on that, if you don't mind. Next up on the flip side, we're going to weigh in on the Washington County's new superintendent of schools. Stay tuned.